Afternoon and welcome to America's Home Cooking. Earlier today, I was talking with my son while I was fixing this, and I didn't think of turning the video on when I did it, which I do apologize. I used my meat seasoning that I gave you, and I have these thin slices of beef that my son had bought for me. And what I did was I rinsed them and patted them dry. And then I rubbed yogurt all over them. I made sure they were thoroughly coated with yogurt this time. And then I took about a quarter cup of the meat seasonings that I gave of the recipe, and I rubbed it all over them, and I let them sit for another 30 minutes. Now, I'm not going to use my seasoned flour because I'm trying something a little different here. I've got some white flour here because most people have all-purpose flour, so we'll pretend, that I don't have any whole wheat or any whole grains. What you can do is take a tablespoon or two of wheat germ and add it to the white flour and pick that nutritional value up. Mix it up and use that instead of just regular flour. And what you do is mix it up, and it will take the place of using a whole grain flour, because the wheat germ is the germ that has all the vitamins and minerals and acids and stuff for the seed to actually live off. It's food that we take. That's why when you get whole wheat flour, the whole grains, they're not white because that's ground up, so you get all of that. The only thing they take off is the bran, and the bran is the outer part of it once you get past the husk, and that's where we get bran to make bran muffins and other things, and that's where the bran comes from. So what I'm going to do is use this plain flour. Now today I'm going to go ahead and make a salad. This is a dressing. It's a very simple dressing that I made. It's just my all blend oil or just plain olive oil. I usually use apple cider vinegar because apple cider vinegar is the one vinegar that alkalines your body. And if your body's alkaline, you cannot get sick. All right? I add garlic, oregano, salt, and pepper with it. And the ratio of vinegar to oil is a 3 to 1. It's 3 oils to 1 vinegar. And you're pretty much on it. Except when I make a Greek salad. They tell me it's 50-50, but God, that really can tear your throat up. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be making with this. And on top of it, I tried something. Now I use soy powder, I use soy grits, I use it in different things, but I've never actually had cooked the beans. Now I took a half a cup of beans, and I'll show you what they look like cooked. It took 3 hours to cook them, by the way. This is what they look like cooked. So I've never had them like this. They have like a slight nut taste. I'll show you what they look like dry, because I pounded it. I want to grind up my own soy because I spend $5 for a small package. But if I'm going to use it to make pasta and stuff, I need a larger container. That's why I want to buy a grinder. But this is what soybeans look like dry. See if I can get this over. See? This is what they look like. They're little round beans. So I have to get a grinder on to beat a lot of these beans. Now what's cute about these beans, and you'll not believe me if I tell you this. Whole wheat flour has 12 grams of protein. Guess how much that has at a half a cup. Now remember, a whole cup of whole wheat is 12. So if you cut that in half, that's only 6. Now half a cup of these beans, just a half a cup before you even cook them, is 17 grams of protein. So there's a lot of protein in those beans. That's why I want to grind it up. And I can make pasta with it, so it'll pick up the protein in the meal. And on top of it, I can use the beans and add protein to the meals. I can also crack it and make soy grits instead of just grits, which is mostly cornmeal, or just plain cornmeal. at a coarser grind, and it doesn't have as much protein. This is why it's very important that I get a grinder for that, because I can't really find what I'm looking for all the time. I went on to Amazon to see if I could find just plain soy grits, but I was getting soy grits with corn grits, a mixture or something, and the protein level is still low, so it's not a lot of soy put in there. So I'd rather just buy the beans and do it and get a grinder and do it myself. Now I'm going to do these in oil and butter this time. And see what happens when you make that all blend, how it looks. This really gets hard. Let's see if that's enough. I don't know yet. So that's my reasoning for getting a grinder. And then I can grind them up together. I can grind up chickpeas, which makes a falafel mix. I'll get the mixture of the herbs and I can mix it myself instead of trying to look for it or use everybody else's mixture. I'll be able to make my own. And falafels are delicious. Oh my God, are they delicious. And now that I know how to make pita breads, I can make my own pita breads. And I know how to make the Tahiti sauce. I think that's also ground chipped beans, almost ground to a powder, and the way you have to make them, boy, your arms can get tired, but it's so good. My husband and I used to get together and make that together. He would make the Tahiti sauce, and I would make the falafel. The mixture and everything, so it's really nice. I was taught that by a very lovely lady. People kept saying, but there's another way you can make them. I said, why do you want to learn another way? It's so good. Hold on a minute. Eating those beans will get me to choke. Oh, when I made the soybeans, I have to be honest with you, the only thing I did was cook it in some stock that I had, and that was it. I didn't add any salt or water because I didn't know how they were going to taste as a whole bean. Because when you grind them, it has a different flavor. It almost comes out to a sweet one. I know these are going to cook quickly because they're not thick enough. The background noise you hear is a weed whacker at my neighbor's. As you can hear, it's quite loud. There's just been a lot of noise in the back of the house. My kitchen's in the back of the house as well. So I hear a lot going on. Now, if you don't want your meat to stick and you take off the coating, you have to sit there and move it around so it doesn't stick. And I am frying it in butter and oil, my all my modified butter. Sometimes you see me moving stuff around. That's actually trying to prevent it from sticking, so it can keep the coating on it where all the flavor is with the herbs. And because it's beef, I don't have to cook it all the way, which is another good thing as well. And to the members, thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'm actually at, in less than a year, 260, and a little over 250. I usually like to say welcome when I hit 150 at a time, but I hit the halfway to the 500, so I was really happy about it, and I wanted to tell you thank you. They say when I hit 500 that I'll be able to get stickers that I can give to people, and probably just get to chat, which would be nice. And for the new ones, I might as well let you know that this is an ongoing story with me in the kitchen. Whenever I'm cooking, I bring you in. So you'll notice that some recipes have 3 parts or 2 parts. Because if I am fermenting, it's going to take time. It takes sometimes weeks and days. Making my sourdough culture took me actually 16 days, which surprised the tar out of me, because I usually do it within 5 or 6. But that's what goes on. And see, if you don't move it, see how it doesn't stick? Sticks to the bottom of your pan, and that's how you want. That's why you move it. So I've got to scrape that off. Because if I leave it on down here, it's going to stick to the rest of them, and I don't want it to stick. And it does. Sometimes it does, and there's just nothing you can do about it. And other times it won't. That's why I move it around, but I stopped for a bit chatting, and as you can see, very fast it'll stick. You need to turn your back. Oh, as I was telling you, this is a long story when I go into the kitchen. So if you're coming on new, you're going to find you didn't show this or you didn't show that, but it's all there. What it is that you have to see it as it goes through, because I'm walking you through the life of me in the kitchen. Like sourdough takes 2 or 3 rises, and I can't do 12-hour rises, so I have parts in it. And sometimes I'll end up making mayonnaise, or I'll make a potato salad, or a salad, like I made tuna macaroni a little different, or I do different biscuits. So what I always do was make sure that you know exactly what I'm doing in each video, so you can keep up with me. Because I don't always make the mixture the same day I'm using it, or ferment and have it done in one day. Some ferments take 2-3 weeks, and I want to keep you in touch with it as we go through it. So this is like a long history of me in the kitchen and what I do in the kitchen. So as you subscribe, you'll be able to keep up with me. You won't get lost, because everything doesn't get done in a half hour or an hour video that you do. So you have to sit there and keep up on what I'm doing. But be it in the afternoon if I'm canning or fermenting or dehydrating or cooking or desserts or a meal, or something that catches my eye, I will bring it to your attention, and I'll drag you into the kitchen with me. Oh. one thing is really about these, I do not have to put them all over the grill because I really love. Now what I am going to do is when I'm done with this, I am going to slice some onions and saute them in this and sear them over this. I think they will be delicious with it. See what I mean? These meats are like really thin. But boy, what I can't do with them. So let me finish these up and I'll be back. Now I used the last of the flour before this that had that seasoning in it and the Moroccan seasoning. So now I'm going to make another bowl of seasoning and just collect it until next time I cook. And keep on using it until I get it. Okay, I finished the steaks. Now what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be slicing up some onions. Now I'm going to use some croutons in my salad. Now, I made these croutons. Now, I can't eat a whole loaf of croutons, a whole loaf that I changed into a crouton. So what you can do is once they're cooled and you've already cut them up and everything and toasted them, you can stick them in the freezer. And then in the morning, take out what you plan to use that evening or for lunch and let them defrost. Now what you have to do is bang them up and you've got your croutons. Very, very easy. But now I've got to get those onions going. Because I'm going to saute onions in the drippings there. So give me a minute. Now, I know I talk about nutrition and certain things on the page here. But if you wish to read the information, I have on Facebook a cooking page by the same name, America's Home Cooking. And if you go into the guides, you can go there and you can read up on some of the symptoms of vitamins that you're missing in your diet and stuff like that. I wrote it there. I actually started out there. And my son told me, Mommy, why don't you make a YouTube channel and explain a lot of this to people? And I said, I don't know. He said, no, Mommy, you know, people keep on asking you about showing them how to cook the way you do so they can be better and healthier. And I said, yeah, well, your father's known that for years, because people have asked me throughout my life. And it's very hard to teach unless you do one-on-one. Because I don't have a classroom or anything like that, you know, but I could go and I'd have to get a teacher's license because they're very picky about that. And then they said, Mommy, you can have a YouTube channel. I said, what do you mean? You can show them how you do it and talk about it. And I said, I didn't think of that, so they got me started on this. So this is a nice way of teaching the people who have asked me, you know, can you teach me? So by showing you how I do it, I hope it helps you. Not putting a lot of onions, but my older son loves onions. If he makes a salad, it's practically all onions. You got to be careful with them. He gets carried away with them. Marcy's always been like that with onions. Okay. We get that hot and throw these in and saute them. And I have very little in here, so of butter and oil with the drippings down on the bottom. So these onions should have good flavor. Because all of this that's left in the pan is actually your drippings. And from this, people make gravies and stuff. But they call them by the wrong names, and it gets confusing because when people say, use this, I said, I have to figure out what they're telling me because I don't understand. This is why we have a universal language of cooking. And it's just like knitting. You have a language of knitting. You have a language of construction. You have a language, just in other things. Help people to be able to cross lines and understand what they're talking about. So it's very important that you learn the language of these things. My son said, Mommy, you speak lots of languages. I said, no, I don't speak English. And he said, no, you know the language of cooking. You know the language of knitting. You know the language of crocheting. I said, okay. And then I get a European crochet book from the past. And what I call a triple or a double crochet, they call a triple. I'm going, okay. So I learned this is where the languages of certain things are separated and you have to be able to cross over. So, I'm trying to think of how I can get a grinder. My mind's going tick, tick, tick. I found one that I really want. It's really a nice looking one. They said I can order it, and when the orders come in, they'll let you know. So it seems that they're backed up on the orders because it's very popular. But I like that idea. I really, really do. To know where I got my love of cooking, Julia Childs. First, man, she really got me into it. My mother was teaching me, how to grease pans and stuff, and then she introduced me to Julia Childs. That was it. I was hooked. The dishes that she put on, oh my God, oh my God, that good. Then I started studying about food and health and nutrition. And I noticed, they said if you have this problem, this goes into this, and I'm going, oh God, there's more to cooking than I thought. And so I started getting into that, learning about foods and herbs. You could say I have gone almost full circle, and I'm still learning. My friend was learning about mushrooms and talking to me about mushrooms that he was learning about. I only thought there were like 4 or 5 different mushrooms. I'm finding out there's a whole slew of them out there. And I said, I didn't know that. I'm still learning. 70 and still learning and counting. close my eyes. Something is always going to be something new. These are going to go on this side. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go make a salad. And I want you to enjoy your lunch and have a great afternoon. The weather's nice, and it is the weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.